Welcome, everybody, to the Future Check podcast. This is episode 6, and today I am joined by Zach Orlowsky over here and Charlie Koepp over here, and these are screenwriters on campus at UW-Madison, also part of the Badger Film Group, so thank you guys for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Happy to have you.
It's been great listening to the episodes, and I'm happy to finally be on.
Hell yeah. And Zach, welcome aboard.
Yeah, I
How you doing?
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat what he said, but
Same idea.
Same sentimentality.
Dude, okay, let's talk about this right now. Plaza on Thursday, okay?
Okay.
We're going through this right now.
Jared
into the
Rosenthal?
nitty-gritty. What happened on Thursday?
Unless we're talking about like
What happened?
a time where I wrote a magnificent piece of writing while sitting at the bar there, then, you know.
Can we at least get like the shortened and PG version of what happened Thursday?
No.
Come on.
No.
Give the fans what they want.
I mean, this is a film podcast, right? So maybe we should start with the topic that's, central to the podcast.
Gosh darn it. Okay, well, just so they're not on their toes, here's what I'm going to say.
I don't think.
Zach went to Plaza on Thursday night, and he ran into familiar friends.
This is you,
and that's all I'm going to say.
You, as an aspiring producer, should have a complete and total understanding of privatization laws.
Oh my God. Okay.
And the internet.
We're gonna just okay. We won't go any further than that. But at least can we talk about why Plaza is your favorite bar? Why you are notorious for attending this establishment?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is not what you think it's gonna be, but
please enlighten us, please.
Oh my God. Okay, sure. And I think Charlie would agree with me on this, but it is the strangest crowd in all of Madison. I think that's why a lot of people go, just for the pure entertainment of meeting strange folks.
It's true. And the bubble hockey.
Oh yeah, the bubble hockey. Well, I had one of those.
You had one of those growing up.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you're pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I never play there because
No.
you guys are chumps, but
Dude, I'm like the greatest bubble hockey player of all time.
You scream and spin the knobs.
Oh, no, I do not.
Call it a day. Yeah.
I do not treat it like foosball. That is totally different. Totally. No, what I'll do is I hustle people there. So I'll go up to a group and I'll be like, wouldn't it be funny if we put money on this game? And they're like, yeah, we should. All right, let's go for it. Like, so the whole night, none of my drinks I really have to pay for. None.
Yeah. No, I totally believe you.
Yeah.
I think this happens all the time.
It's great.
I didn't know we were lying on this podcast.
Oh, lying. This is a fact. It's a fact. You haven't seen me in action there yet.
Sure, I haven't.
It's true. But you're also a Plaza person as well.
Yeah,
so
I'm a Plaza regular. I mean, a lot of it's for convenience. It's only like a couple blocks from me, but
I don't believe that.
But for the same reasons, there's great people watching at Plaza.
Yes, this is true.
It's
I mean,
unbeatable.
do you go early or do you show up usually on the later side when you?
I usually go pretty early, but really only on Thursdays.
Okay, that makes sense. Got to get that burger.
This is such niche content.
This
I
is
just want to
great.
throw it out there.
This is great. You love it. You live for it.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So, I mean, we could talk about more, the film stuff if you guys really want.
No.
You go deep in on it.
It's our home away from home.
It's exactly.
It's your home away from home now too,
It's-
Jared. You can't even deny it.
No, I do love it there. I went there growing up as a kid for just eating lunch, with my family, and then I started going there to actually go out in the last year, and then it's been super fun. Like that and KK are like my two bars. There's no in between, and they're so polar opposite. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Last night though, we were at Mom's Bar. That was fun.
Yeah.
Mom's Bar is great.
Yeah.
Like that karaokeing.
Well, I'm annoyed because they exploit you. Sorry. If anyone from Mom's Bar that works there is listening to this,
sorry.
I should not have to pay money to sing. That's just, yeah.
It's not it.
Leave it at that.
Well, I mean, and the drinks too are kind of expensive as well.
I
but
mean, you're think about coming from New York. Those are not expensive.
I guess in comparison, this is true. It's true.
Yeah.
But the actual the place itself, it's pretty cool. I think it opened last year.
It reopened because
reopened.
it was always a karaoke bar, but they just rebranded themselves differently. Yeah.
The more you know. But yeah, last night though, it was me, you, Charlie, Alex Schmitz was there.
Mm-hmm.
Jay was there. Jay is not here today.
One last name.
He's out. Yeah, Schmitz. Who else was there? I'm forgetting. I think that was it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a blur. Although I do remember singing "Boyfriend" by Justin Bieber last night.
Yeah.
That was very fun. Did you guys record that? Did
I
someone have that on
did.
video?
I
Yeah.
sent it to
You
the group
recorded
chat.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I
You put it in the group
that.
me?
Mhm.
Oh, I have to watch that. I haven't really gone through the group me today. I've been lacking because I was on set today earlier with Mitch and Alex because Mitch had a shoot 20 minutes north. For I don't know exactly what the project was. I didn't really ask any questions. I just got there and said hi and left. But I was just chilling there for a bit, eating the food on set and just hanging out.
See, that is the way to go.
That was
The
it.
catering.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
they had great donuts on set. They had these cherry donuts that were amazing.
Sounds good.
They were shooting with a red camera. They had a crane in there. They had all sorts of equipment. It was unreal.
And you don't know what the project is.
I don't know exactly. No, I just know they're shooting in a barn and they had a kid like on top of hay, pretty much just walking, and they had to make sure that she didn't fall off this ledge. So it was a little dangerous actually, but they were really good about the safety there, and that's all I saw. That's all I knew. That was it. But cool stuff. I mean, I think it's just cool in general anytime you get to go to a set, whether it be like ours or just in general anyone, because every set is so different, and there's just so many new things you can learn from each place you go to, and the different crews and cast. It's just different energy wherever you go. It's just like, but it's always fun. Like I live for that stuff, you know. And I don't know, have you guys been on sets before, out like in New York or, because you're both from New York, so.
Yeah, I've been on a couple. Both are my uncle's productions. One was called Premium Rush. It was about a bicycle messenger who is trying to get this package delivered, and that's basically the whole premise of the movie. But it's starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The other movie set I was on, which was like just before the pandemic, was You Should Have Left. And the shot was in like a old bank vault. And Kevin Bacon was the main guy. But both are really cool just because of like the free food. I was young, like I wasn't really into film at the time. I was just like, okay, there's free food and I can just like chill here.
Yeah.
That was
so
probably
great.
the best part.
Yeah, it's just the lounging. Because I
Yeah.
realized there's just a lot of like, on sets there's just a lot of chilling. You know, because the setup for every single shot is just, you know, it takes a while. But yeah, I mean, on some sets, I guess for us, what we do, everyone has to be contributing all at once at the same time. But when you get to like, professional sets and that sort of stuff, it's like people, they don't really blend roles. And like, if it's not your time to do something, you're just hanging.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about professional sets that's interesting is that, like, everyone who's doing their job is, like, a complete pro at what they do, and it took them, like, a while to get to that place.
Right.
And on our sets, like, people are switching and this and that, but, like, with those pro sets, like, the sound guy is, like, going to be insanely good at sound. Like, everyone is just on their game no matter what. So it's interesting to talk to those people and how they got there. But
True.
Yeah.
True. They get paid for it, too.
Yeah.
That in itself, I mean, for these long shoots, I love them. But yeah, I mean, in the real world, people are making money off this. This is something you could do for a living. And I think a lot of people, before they get into this and try it out, like, they don't realize that. Like, even, like, just, like, the little roles that you wouldn't even think of, they're just as valuable as, you know, the ones that are, like, the sexy ones, like director, producer, or writer, you know, like, different animal. But, you know, I think we should talk more about just your guys and your writing process together, more so about the film Wasted, as you guys wrote that. What was that like working together from day one until the final script? Zach, would you like to address this question?
Yeah, I can step in.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, if I remember correctly, we had a month to write it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
So I think we did like a deadline for each week for a certain amount of scenes. So I don't know. I think it was easier paradoxically because of the fact that we were on a time crunch to get it done. I think if it was just like some unspecified point of time in which we were going to begin production, I think there would have been a lot more opportunity to slack off, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So I think that was helpful. I don't know. We met up a couple times a week. But writing is not a very, well, I guess you could argue writing rooms are, but the physical act of writing is not a very collaborative process. You know what I mean? Like sharing ideas and brainstorming, absolutely. But once you're writing, I think it's very solitary. So, like, I think the bulk of it was just us doing it on our own, just pumping it out. Because, I don't know, you can't really assist someone to write. It's a weird concept.
Right. You just got to do it. Once you have the pieces that you need, the different details, where the story is supposed to go. It's time to just get after it and do it. That's and each scene you guys, it was split too, because it was pretty evenly split. Like each week, I think it was like you're writing 8 scenes per week roughly each, something like that. About yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, do you guys? I mean, Charlie, do you want to talk about like in that process? Would you write all 8 at once, or would you do a few one day, a few another? Like, how did that work?
I think we would do I would split it up, but I think Zach and I would talk about like which scenes we felt most comfortable tackling, because there were some scenes where we were like, one of us would be like, I can't do this, I don't know where to go with it. And there'd be others where one of us would be like, I know exactly what I want to do with this scene. And so that would just make it easy, because we wouldn't do like first for me, next for Zach. It would be more like which ones we had a really good idea of. And I think one thing that helped in the writing process is knowing that this movie was going to get made, because a lot of things you write as a writer, you're like, well, this might not get made. Like, most of the time, it's like, this is probably never going to get made. With this, it was like, you want to get it done, and you also want it to be good, because like, this is actually going to happen.
Right. I think, and that adds to, like, I guess, that stress factor, or, like, that timeline, where it's like, you know it has to get done, so you're going to do it. And the fact that you had deadlines, and that, like you said, too, it was going to be in production, you had to work. Like, there was no... I don't know if it's adrenaline that kicks in, or just what goes through your head and body when it's like you have to get it done. Is it like fear factor or stress? You're like, I love this and I'm gonna do it. Like what motivates you at that point?
Well, for me, it's just like, I think my normal writing process is like, when things come to me, I'll write them. But for this, it was like, that was also the case, but like, any like chance I had to write, I was writing, and it forced me to like think about how to write the story in certain ways. Basically, my mind was like even during lectures, it would be like, okay, how am I going to write this scene, because I was on a time crunch. So it like taught me a new way to write, which was like just always thinking about the story.
It's a 24/7. It's a lifestyle type of thing where you get inspiration from all over, and it takes a lot of deep thought. It doesn't just happen in one sitting. Like, you don't just have all the answers ready to go after you're like, okay, now is the time I'm going to do it. And now you think and think. It's not like that. I think to some extent, sure, that can work, but I think you get stuff over time from different places and, different mindsets that you're in. Am I right? I mean, I've only written like 3 scripts.
I think it's very dependent on the person.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I agree. I think, like, how Charlie does it may not be. Like, for me personally, I'm very brute force orientated, where I will be like, I'm going to sit down and write something. And I might not feel like I can do that at the moment of saying that to myself, but you kind of force yourself to do it anyway. Right. So I don't know. I think that's interesting, that like constant undercurrent of like mulling things over and sort of crafting ideas to yourself. But for me, it's kind of like the on and off switch, where I just like, game mode, off duty mode,
right?
But I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
No,
I think it's different for everyone. I think, and that goes if it's writing, directing, producing. I think everyone has different styles. Some are similar. But again, it's like I said, no 2 sets are the same. I mean, no 2 people are the same. So I think that's what makes making movies and just art in general so interesting and unique, because the angles that you're coming from, and the way that you're telling a certain narrative can be completely different. The way that we did this movie can be completely different than the way someone else would write this.
Well, that's an interesting process. I don't know if you want to get into that.
I mean, yeah,
the evolution of the script, exactly.
Right. I think we should get in the evolution of the script because it was like me. So here's what happened. So Blake and I came up with this idea together. Then we met with Ben because we wanted him to help direct, and then we molded more of that idea and thought and crafted more things for an outline and ideas. And then this was like all winter break. We were doing this.
Yeah.
Hours on end on FaceTime. And then once that was done, then we came to you guys. And we came to you and we had, you guys did your scenes. And once that was done, we had that week of hell where we had the whole script and we just went through it, cutting and adding and cutting and adding for, oh my gosh, hours.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was insane.
Well, you were there for the beginning, right?
I was there.
Yeah.
For probably
Most of it.
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah, you were.
I was there for most of it. I was just making sure it was happening, and then I would contribute an idea here, idea there. Because at that point, it was more director's vision. Does he see?
Totally director's vision.
Is the story what he sees? Because I mean, I had the baseline idea with Blake, like I said, but then when it comes to actually shooting it, that's where you have to have it, like you can visualize it perfectly, so that when you get to set, it's not confusion and chaos. And there were times where we did switch things on set, or we dropped some lines here, or we added some things here. There was some experimentation, but overall.
Yeah, no, totally. I would say that's probably where the brunt of the collaboration comes in,
Right.
Around that time.
Well, let's talk about this. That final scene, we're not going to tell people how it ends, but do you guys want to explain to the viewers how this went down in this a crazy session of madness?
Yeah, there's been like dozen versions of the final scene. And those like long nights when the script was done, like towards the tail end, like it felt like half that time was about the final scene. I literally got lunch with Ben at the Globe and talked about the final scene for like 3 hours, and that wasn't even the version that ended up happening, which is just crazy to like. I think the final one we did is the best one, but like it's been like version after version after version. So like that's a movie in itself.
Yeah. Well, that I remember because that changed the day we shot. That the day we were shooting that final scene was the day that this went down. This like when we had that talk about how it ends, right? Mm-hmm. This was happening 2 hours before the shoot.
I think there was still things to consider, but I think we were dealing with this like weeks and weeks ago. No?
Yeah.
Like,
there's always been tweaks.
It was tweaking.
The big idea though changed.
The big idea
changed weeks ago. I feel like
that was the big shift. But I agree with you. I think you totally improvise slightly every time you translate something from the paper to the set itself.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
And you both were there for that shoot, right? We both.
We were there for the beginning of that
start.
shoot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because you guys came to a handful of them. Of the 20-some shoots that we came to, you were there, for probably at least a handful.
Yeah, at least a quarter.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you do any true production work this time?
No, I just...
Yeah, you were just chilling, hanging over.
Maybe held a light once.
No, Zach,
I was on sound a lot. They had me on sound a bunch of times.
Right.
That was,
you were doing sound. And then at the fraternity, you were holding the light, I think, outside.
Oh, God. Well, I was also an extra.
And you were an extra,
too.
Yeah. You were an extra, too, for one of the scenes.
Yeah, Paul's and Whiskey's.
Oh, you're an extra at Paul's? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Left.
What about...
I did leave. I bailed. Sue me.
You left Whiskey's when? How, like...
I left Whiskey's. Right? I left Whiskey's after my... Well, they didn't need me as an extra anymore, so I was like, okay.
You just left.
Salutations.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
Actually, I think that's a greeting. Whatever.
Greetings and salutations.
I don't think you say goodbye with salutations.
It's okay.
Whatever.
We'll make mistakes.
Yeah, whatever it is. We get the idea. We get the idea. But then you had Portobello. You both were there?
I didn't go.
You weren't at Puerto.
I've actually
Charlie
never
was
been
there.
I was there. for
Yeah.
that.
I remember that. There was that one. The arcade. That was the first shoot. I don't know. Were you guys at that one too?
Zach was?
The arcade?
I was
arcade.
not.
I was there at the arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
That
That was
guy was
cool.
losing his mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because we had a certain amount of time there and we were taking up a good amount of space. So, rightfully so, he was not too happy with us. But in the end, I think we smoothed things over and made it okay with him. But, yeah, it was very generous of the arcade to even let us film there in the first place.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of places were just super generous about
Well,
it.
I mean, God forbid anyone gives us funding for anything, right?
Right, yeah.
So it's fine.
We everything
We'll
we
take
had.
the charity.
We put it all out there. We put it on the line. There's nothing we held back. I have no regrets about this movie. I really don't. I think
Yeah.
I obviously we want everyone to like it, and I think a lot of people will like it. I mean,
We'll
they'd be
see.
dumb to not like it, but
We'll see.
from our
No,
point of view, for what we did, I love it. I've seen some scenes already.
I haven't seen anything.
You haven't seen anything.
Nothing.
Wow.
Final scene's looking pretty great.
Yeah, the final scene's really cool.
I want to see.
It's really cool. I mean, they're all cool, but that especially, it's just like, it's the culmination of everything we ever envisioned. So that's why, yeah, I mean, we put it all out there. So, you know, when people go back, like look back on this film, and they're like, oh, do you wish you could have changed something or do something differently? Honestly, no. You know, we've done everything we possibly can. We've put it all out there. And at this point, it's just about hoping that people like it. We love it, obviously, because it's our film. But if people don't like it, I don't think that's anything to be upset about. I mean, I truly do think they're going to appreciate it, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have a
That's-
question for Charlie.
Okay.
I'm curious how you felt about, like, real people acting out these characters that we've created.
Well, I thought we cast well, so it felt like they were the people who should be acting those roles. It was a little weird at first. It was like, these are real people now, but I think we did a good job casting. A lot of people came in the audition. I think we picked the right ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Do you guys want to talk about that audition process? Zach,
I'll
yeah.
let Zach go.
That laugh.
No, it was fun. I like the audition process. It's just interesting, you know? Such a vulnerable thing for people to do. So crazy.
I mean, it's
So crazy.
Yeah, you got to have the confidence, and honestly, you have to go in there and not really. I mean, they didn't know what they were really doing going in. They had some sides,
Yeah,
but
no, I agree with you.
have to go in there believing in
Yeah.
yourself.
It's just like those auditions were the first time those scenes were ever spoken out loud too.
Right.
You know, that's a
Right.
little. It was. I think even then we were figuring out what needed to be kept and changed. Even then, just listening to those brief moments.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there are some moments.
That was
in there that,
before
yeah.
the Hell Week.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was even before that.
So
Yeah, it was an odd order that we did it in, but it's because we knew that this movie was gonna be a crunch, and we had to do that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All for no, but I mean, like we had to do it before graduation.
We had
you know?
to, and the fact that this is happening, Thursday at freaking Union South.
I love that place. Sorry,
It's
I love
cool.
it there.
It's cool.
I've come around. It's grown on me.
It's grown. Well, now, I mean, do you guys want to talk about your film that you just made that did
Oh,
well in
boy.
one of the competitions here?
That was yeah. Go for it.
Sure. So we just did like a little. Zach and I did a little short for Wood Films competition. They're like 1 week short film competition, and it was pretty wacky.
It was wacky. We got third, and there was actually a lot of submissions. Just throwing it out there.
Wow.
There were
there were
a
a lot
lot
of
of submissions.
Wow.
We don't know how many, but a lot. So.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. And to see your film premiered there as
Yeah,
well.
big screen.
Yeah, everything looks better on the big screen. I mean, it was already good, but it looked even better.
Honestly, we've been throwing. I feel like me and Charlie keep ending up in like competitions together.
It's just,
Oh yeah.
yeah, dynamic duo.
We both submitted to the creative department writing competition this semester too.
Oh, dang.
And
Both
what they
lost.
did, yeah, neither of us got anything.
No.
But it's fine. It was just they set it up so it was announced live, So you had to go to the event to like see who won,
Okay.
which of course makes sense because if you're getting funding for these awards, you're going to want to turn out. And what better way than to keep it a secret until then? But yeah, it happens. It happens, you know?
It happens.
Sometimes your greatness isn't recognized, and that's okay. And then
I recognize both your guys' greatness. You know that.
The next week, so keep things in perspective.
Exactly. How many people are premiering their feature film on Thursday next week? Not too many.
Not a lot of people.
Not too many. But would you say, as writers, what's your favorite part about writing a screenplay? Because you can write novels, you can write, do magazine stuff. You could literally, there's so many things you could write. I mean, articles, whatever, like any publication. But a screenplay, why do you guys enjoy doing that?
I would say that I've written far more prose than I have scripts and screenplays. And I would say that for me personally, I'm very visual when it comes to writing. And so I'm already almost playing it out in my head as if it's a set, as if it's a scene. But I think more practically, it's an elevated experience seeing it as if it's real and interactable, to some extent. So, yeah, I guess you could publish a book and people can read it, and that's a great thing. But I would say today, movies and TV shows are so much more, viral in terms of culture than a book would be these days. And you can argue with me on that, but I think I would say that just the way we, absorb media, that it would be crazy to make something that like millions of people look at and then discuss online and have arguments over and then create their own characters within the world you've created. And, again, you could do that with books, but it's just a different experience seeing it on screen. I don't know, Charlie. How do you feel about the whole thing?
About writing in general? Well, I guess for me it's a little different because the writing I have done, which isn't like super extensive, but it's been mostly for the screen and not prose. But for me, I think there's my writing style and how I write is I write when I feel creative. For Wasted, it was a little different because we're in a time crunch, but and when I am in time crunches, I'll try to crank things out. But for the most part, writing is just like when it comes to me, I'll write it. And I think like, not to get too pretentious, but the way David Lynch described it is like, is like it's like fishing. Like the fish or the idea will come to you, and I think not forcing it is just what feels right for me. And I think my favorite part of writing is not knowing where the story is going and surprising yourself with where it will go. There are times where I'll know what's going to happen, but most of the time I'll surprise myself with the ideas I come up with, and that's my favorite part, just taking twists and turns that I didn't even see or envision. So, yeah.
No, for sure. I think, Zach, what were you going to say?
Well, I'm just, do you enjoy writing scripts more than traditional, forms of writing?
I find it, I feel like it, I don't know. I don't think I've written enough to enough prose to know. I think the prose I wrote for the competition, the short story, it was just tricky because I hadn't done a lot of it. Mm-hmm. So right now, writing for the screen just is easier. But there were parts of writing the short story that I was like, this is fun because I can just go into as much or as little detail as I want. Yeah. I don't have to get straight to the point if I don't want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I guess when it comes to ideas, because I think that's sort of the underlying thing, is grasping an idea and then making sure you can execute what you have in mind. So how do you, I mean, A, how do you come up with ideas? And B, once you have the idea, how do you make sure that you actually do it and do it the way you want to?
I mean, I think there's like two different kinds of people, right? There's the outliners and planners that will storyboard, you know, so to speak. And then you have people that will just make it up as they go along. So it depends on your preference, really. I like not planning ahead. And that could be disastrous to the ending, potentially. But I'm not a planner. I don't like planning. So
No.
kind of just let the idea take you where it goes.
Let it flow.
That sort of thing.
Right. I mean, but like, what about actually getting the ideas though? Where does that come from? Obviously, is there some sort of inspiration, or you're told by people about something and then oh, that interests me, I want to do it? Or I mean, because Wasted, this movie, we came to you guys with ideas, and then you guys made it happen. But in your own scenario, if you were to go about just making a movie, right? How would you preferably do it?
Shit, for me, just pops into my head.
Just pops in your head.
And when it does, I write it down right away. So I don't ever try to think of something. It just happens. I write it down. If I really like it, I'll literally just leave where I am and start writing. So yeah.
So interesting. I am totally of the mind that my writing reflects whatever author that I am currently obsessed with at the time. So I don't know, when we were writing Wasted, what was I reading? I don't know. But I know for a period before that I was reading a lot of China Mayville books. I don't know if you know who that is. But his writing is really wild and freaky. And so a lot of the stuff I was writing at the time was also super odd and bizarre. And so I'm definitely influenced, as opposed to it popping into my head, by whatever I'm obsessed with. But then I'll get into a different series or author or writer, and my style totally takes a shift to reflect that. And I will say that does not equate to plagiarism. Sorry. You can disagree with me because I'm not taking their ideas, but I like playing with other styles and seeing if I enjoy them or not.
Well then, okay, so how do you find those certain authors in the first place? So what makes you pick, I want to read so-and-so versus whoever?
Total guesswork. I just see a book. I'm like, that could be interesting or whatever, and just read it. And if it's something I like, then I'll keep reading their work. I don't know. That seems pretty normal. For
heavy research on Reddit. About what random people on the internet think of the book.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you could just walk into a library,
but art is so subjective, though. Right.
It's super
so
subjective.
Someone could be like, "This is terrible," but another person could be like, "Oh, this resonated with me."
But it's also like, if I am reading that a lot of people like a book, or that a lot of people don't, then I'll read it. Like, for me, like, a movie, it's like whatever, but like a book, I'm gonna spend a lot of time with this book. Like, I want to know.
Well, you can argue with TV
more
shows
about it. Well, I just don't even watch TV.
You don't watch any TV.
Like, I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm and Portlandia.
Yeah,
and that's
you
about
watch
it.
Portlandia.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Sopranos, a little
interesting.
Yeah,
I'm such a TV person over movies.
Really?
Yeah, because I like that you can get really into like a storyline.
It's true. There's definitely more character attachment and like story attachment, just because these shows can last for years.
Yeah.
Whereas a movie you get for one experience. But I like movies way more, just because I think it's so much harder to go through an entire story in that short amount of time. I think it's just a bigger challenge, and it's more impressive in my opinion. I have so much respect for TV shows too. Don't get me wrong. I just think the task of fitting a story into one viewing is so impressive.
Well, I guess that would, like, I don't know, not to quote the oh my God, Aristotle's, pillars of theater or whatever, but for you, what is your priority? Is it story? Is it character? Is it like the spectacle? Is it the soundtrack? Like, I feel like that definitely influences how you feel about movies. Because if character is like something you value over everything else, then I could see how movies would be more more enjoyable because I feel like the most iconic characters come from movies as opposed,
Right.
So
But stories, those can unfold over a series of years.
Yeah.
So where do I lean? I guess I mean, I do love going off. I watch movies probably. I mean, if I hear a good review, obviously, it's good plot, good this, good that. But if it's like really funny characters, I'm gonna watch that. Like, you should have seen the main guy so and so, or the main actress. She was like this, like that. That draws me.
Yeah, you are totally a character person.
Yeah. The characters.
Yeah.
You can argue with me on this too. Is that I think characters make the movie because it doesn't really matter what the scenario is if the characters aren't entertaining to watch. If there's no development, there's no arc. And who the heck cares if they're out, at an arcade or they're out at a theater? It doesn't matter unless these characters have some sort of dynamic elements to them. So that's what interests me the most, the character. And I think you guys did a beautiful job with writing David's character, Alex Wilder. I think that was so cool because that character is so complex. I mean, it's so interesting because I think we all have parts of the main character of Alex Wilder within us. So I don't know, when you guys were thinking about him, what was going through your head when you were writing this specific character, like the main character? Because that's who everyone's going to be focusing on.
Well, I think a lot of it was interpreting what Ben and Blake wanted.
That's funny.
I mean, I'm not going to write a character that I think is going to, like, I wrote my interpretation of what they told me. And for me, it was like someone who kind of like knows what they want, but also at the same time doesn't. It's just a little all over the place. And I think it wasn't he's someone who's at a point in his life that I was like just in, where I was like, I've felt the same way, where I don't know what like social groups I'm in, where I'm like just confused about where I want to go with my life. So it was like not too hard to write because I was just in that place. But I think that was kind of where I was going with the character. It was an interpretation, but my interpretation was like, it's a character who really wants something, but at the same time is like, still has a lot of ambivalence about this thing he's so driven to get, which is acceptance and other things, as you'll see.
It's true. And Zach, what's your take on this? I mean, and even you can go into talking about other characters that you guys developed as well. I mean, what was your mindset in going through each character? Like, is it you have to think thoroughly before you start writing their lines, or it just flowed for you when you were going? Like, I guess start with Alex Wilder, but then talk about how you went into other characters as well.
Honestly, I would say that characters tend to write themselves,
Right.
You kind of just write the script, and then you as we've talked about, rewrite the script and tweak it and fill in plot holes and solve continuity problems, and then all of a sudden your character's doing things in a different way than you initially had them, and that wasn't even intentional. It was a byproduct of revision. And so I think, not to be cliched, but, it does kind of shape themselves, and especially when you're investing so much time, I think it is kind of correlated. Like, the more investment you put into it, the more it kind of does the work for you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, that's super cool. It's natural. It's natural. You both have, I mean, it's a talent. It's something that not everybody has. And I think it's a gift that, yes, you can practice it, but I think it's one of those things where you already have that inside of you, and it just takes the reps. I don't think you could just become a great screenwriter. I mean, this is my personal understanding, because from what I've seen is the people that are really good at writing, like both of you guys, it's like you have it within you. Like, you're just good at it, and you've gotten better and better from the start, Good at the start, and you just got better and better. Like, I feel like I haven't seen someone who starts off bad and then becomes good.
Yeah, no, you're totally born with it. Like, but with that said, writing a lot, if you're a bad writer and you write a lot, you'll be solid, but people, like, it's something you are born with. But either way, like, you've got to get the reps in no matter what. I don't know.
I
Zach
don't know about that one.
What's your belief on this?
I think it is such a muscle like everything else, 100%. I think if you're not passionate about it, then of course you're not going to be good at it. But I think anyone could be good at it, you know. It's like
I just disagree.
That's fair. But I would say I loved reading and I still love to read, but I read so many books as a kid, like constantly. And I would say that is not an innate part of me. That is something I chose to do because I enjoyed it. But that definitely shapes how, like, my writing right now. I think if I hadn't read so much, I wouldn't be able to tap into all of these different styles and stories I've encountered, you know, and use that to shape my own work. And I think we're totally ignoring the idea of stamina and the idea that, like, you could be a great writer, but if you don't have the stamina, then you will never be a great writer. If you're not willing to sit down and just crank something out for hours on end. Because, you know, a lot of people, I mean, like, you start, oh no, is that 6? No. You start out the first 30 minutes, like, not even writing, you know? It's a lot, it's a huge chunk of time to invest constantly. So, like, yeah, you could have a talent for it, but I think you could also just struggle your way through it. And if you care enough, then you know, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I feel that. And I think this is something, you know, as we're wrapping up this podcast, I want to ask you guys, you know, as writers, as storytellers, as artists, do you see yourself throughout the rest of college trying other roles in production, like trying to direct or trying to produce, or, you know, because you guys both being, you know, junior and a sophomore, there's time to do other things too. I mean, more writing, of course, but do you envision yourself in Badger Film Group taking on other roles?
I would like, I'm saying this right here, I would like to direct the next Badger Film Group short. I want it to go to Sundance. I want it to go to Cannes. I want it to go to every festival. But yes, I would like to try some other things. But yeah, no, I would totally love to direct a Badger Film Group short. Hopefully it's the next one though.
We shall see.
We'll see. Funny.
And Zach, what about you?
So this summer, I'm gonna do a lot of production work for a news channel back in New York. So I'm gonna have a lot of exposure to, you know, the under the line, so to speak, part of the job, the gig economy, if you will.
Gig economy, yes.
So, and that'll be really helpful. I feel like I'm gonna learn a lot. But I would rather write these projects that are coming and have other people direct them. You know, I feel like you can like, I would totally be down to explore directing, but I think that I'd rather, in a world where everyone wants to do everything and people are competing for every chance they get, I would rather do something that I'm completely passionate about than something that, like, I wouldn't want to take it away from someone who's like, that's their dream, you know, and vice versa. You know, I wouldn't want some casual, like, sound worker. I don't know. That sounded derisive. Sorry.
It's like a sound person.
Like a sound person who's into production. Like, I don't know. Like, if they took a crack at, I don't know, writing, like, good for them. But if it was like a important project, like, I think I'd rather, you know. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. It's that, you know, you're very passionate about writing. You're not opposed to other things, but you wouldn't want to take that role away from somebody else who is maybe more passionate or really wants to do it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, my belief is just, you know, with Badger Film Group, it's the time to experiment and try things out and learn. So, you know, whatever you want to do, you guys know that we're gonna try to make it happen in the next, you know, I'm gonna be here for another year. You're here another year. I mean, and then Charlie's got 2.
Yeah. Hold your horses. You'll get your chance.
Get ready. I'll say one more thing.
One more thing. Oh,
I've got a project coming up in the summer that I believe Zach will help out with.
I'll throw a bone into the mix.
Some things. It's gonna be a little bit of a push. There's gonna be a lot of moving parts, but it's gonna happen. And,
awesome.
I'll throw some Badger Film Group credit in there.
Let's go. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is great. I will totally be supporting that. I'll post on BFG stuff about that. If you need any help, I'm here for you. I'll be in Chicago and Madison, but we're all here for you.
He'll fly to New York.
He'll
I'm not opposed.
He'll hitchhike.
I'm not opposed.
I'll charter a plane for him.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna wrap now truly with one last thing. So project in the summer, Zach, you might be working on it, might not. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Helping.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is confirmed.
2 blocks from me. Come on.
That is true.
Okay,
Did you
so
know
he's
that?
2 blocks. You guys live 2 blocks away from each other.
Maybe 3 or 4.
Wow.
2 for the record.
2 for the record.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this summer, so I was gonna say, what are the plans? What are the plans? And so I know you said already you're gonna be doing some work, some production work, and Charlie, I mean, making another movie, a short here. So that's gonna be awesome. Do you want to explain the story before we end the show?
No. The story of the movie? No.
The story of his.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Totally go for it.
Yeah.
So,
I was like, don't spoil the movie.
Yeah, you don't have to spoil it.
Don't spoil the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it ends with, I'm kidding. But for mine, I'll give a short description. So basically the thinking was like, we don't really know a lot about our parents. That's all I'll say. But the story, as far as the story goes, a son develops some of his father's pictures and finds some interesting stuff, some stuff that he probably didn't want to know about, and he kind of has to figure out if he wants to know more or not. And yeah, that's all I'll say for now. But
That's it. Little cliffhanger for you guys. But Zach confirmed will be helping with the project.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to see it. And hey guys, stay tuned for Charlie's project. Badger Film Group, stay tuned for Wasted, premiere on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. at the Marquee Cinema at Union South. You can buy tickets online to the after party, and that is $15. The price is going up very soon to be $20. So get your tickets while you can. They're almost sold out. That's what we got. Episode 6 of the Future Check podcast. Thank you, boys, for coming on the show today.
Wait, do you have an outro song or no for this
We have
one?
an outro, like a beat.
Okay. What is it?
Future Check
The
podcast.
Future Check podcast is checking out. Yeah. Have a nice day.
I love this podcast so much.
We out.